Let's knock this. Are you okay if we start by knocking this out? Are we ready to go?
Could be.
Okay. Then we will call this meeting of the Orem City Planning Commission to order on December 3rd, 2025 in the work room and the council conference room. I guess that's what this is. I never figured out what the name for this room is.
Not a name.
Yeah, this place that we love.
Can I make a comment before we start?
Yeah.
In the last couple of weeks, I went to two neighborhoods at very inconvenient times to find out they were both canceled. There was nobody there to tell us anything. They were just canceled.
Okay, for which projects?
They went by an I'm what thing? A to two
I don't know what that is.
D design.
A to Z design.
We've gotten several recently. One was a redo of another meeting.
Oh,
And one was something that we had been notified for like a year and a half ago that they're retried for again.
I mean, don't remember what this would be for. I have had a lot come through, but I can contact them and see what's going on.
Is this the one, is that with the rec center?
I called
Yeah.
them like.
That's on 100 West. It's the guy that we tried to do
I got a.
the six, 5 or 6 places. He's doing something again.
Left a voice message.
Well,
Said somebody at the city told them they didn't have to have a meeting.
You, Lene, me, and Jeff.
No. If they're changing their zoning, none of us would ever tell them that. Yeah, let me,
Is that a meeting you went to? Sorry, I misunderstood.
you're good. From zoning from residential to commercial.
Oh, yeah, that one didn't make any sense. I brought that one up with Jared when I got it.
The other one was this one. Being replaced by this one because the date was changed. There wasn't a pole there.
In the middle of the residential neighborhood.
Yeah, but it didn't tell you where. Oh, it told you where you were meeting, but it didn't tell you what the property was.
This is the one you were talking about today.
The only one that got the cartel about the meeting.
Yeah, you get that one.
Did you get that one?
No, that one's just north
Like I
of,
said.
But this is the guy,
That's
Just
the
north
same
of the
one. So
hospital.
that one's that
I'm
one.
gonna take notes really quick.
and this doesn't,
Yeah.
he doesn't say anything about it. So this.
Yeah, it doesn't say address, it doesn't
Not
say
a
anything.
good-
And I showed that one to him because I thought we changed the.
Yeah, it's gotta be specific. And
Yes, it's not. So that one's, and then yes, then there was the two for the one that they redid it. That I think is.
Is one of them for where the pest control place is?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
So that's not one of them. Okay. I don't know if that one's happening.
I missed this one.
Okay, and then there was this one, and then they sent out another like, correct, they redid that one.
This one last year. I thought.
Yeah, no,
One
they
is
kind of, that one's the redo of the
Oh, the
Apollo burger that they're redoing, and then, yes, I've gotten two from,
Can't do this.
and this is probably the other one you're talking about. Have you gotten the notice that says that date changed? Like, well, after the meeting
Yes.
happened? Okay.
I didn't get this one.
Over there.
How are you, man?
We didn't even know.
Okay,
I didn't get you. Back to. I know.
okay. Yes,
Let's go.
yeah, that's the Costco one.
Plan change for their gas changes. For the.
That
For
would
the
be
new fridge.
because I didn't answer his email.
Freezer.
He emailed. No, this is not the most egregious. It's very, very doing.
Also been doing a lot of interviews. Thanks. What do you?
Okay.
Software.
I'm gonna hit
Play on that.
okay, this is basically just state requirements for the open meetings and stuff. Please have audio. Do I have audio? That makes me so thrilled. This might become a next project.
Well, you were.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's playing.
Videos.
We can read.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
I can't. I didn't bring my.
I'm sorry. I mean, I can read it very interpretively.
Some of it, I mean, I can read it, but it's going so fast. I
Yeah.
can't read it.
We could slow down the speed on
A
that.
bit of fun I get around the world.
Yeah, there is a.
If you want, I'll narrate it for you in like Donald Duck voice or something. Yeah.
Sure.
That's what you're interested in.
Let's see how fast.
Entity type.
Oh.
We focus
Audio.
on local
There we go.
This came through.
government, not state
Uh-huh.
requirements.
Construction. Yeah.
When in doubt, read
I did
the
that.
law.
Actually.
Consult with your legal counsel. So what's considered an open and public
This is how I
meeting?
feel about going through it.
It's
Let's just
when a
go
public body
to-
quorum,
Oh
also
my
known as
God.
a simple majority,
Give me.
meets to discuss or act upon
There it is.
government
Trying to
business.
get my voice to.
It includes. So what is the Open and Public Meetings Act? It's the state law that ensures government actions and deliberations are openly conducted. Before we continue, keep in mind that this video is an overview and exceptions may exist based on your entity type. We focus on local government, not state requirements. When in
Send that
doubt,
video,
read the
please.
law and consult with your legal counsel. So what's considered an open and public meeting? It's when a public body quorum, also known as a simple majority, meets to discuss or act upon government business. It includes the meetings sometimes referred to as workshops or executive sessions. Regular meetings, public hearings, electronic meetings, and emergency meetings are all open and public meetings. Open and public meetings don't include chance or social meetings. A public hearing is a type of open and public meeting where citizens have a reasonable opportunity to speak. Public hearings happen when a government adopts a budget, imposes or increases taxes or fees, or transfers money from an enterprise fund. These meetings have extra notice and posting requirements and won't be addressed in this video. An electronic meeting is a type of open and public meeting that's convened electronically, such as via phone or the internet. Remember, the governing body must adopt a resolution, rule, or ordinance allowing and governing electronic meetings. OPMA adds additional requirements too. An emergency meeting may be held to discuss an urgent matter due to unforeseen circumstances. In order to hold the meeting, the best notice that's feasible is provided of the time, location, and topics to be considered. An attempt is made to contact all governing body members, and a governing body majority approves the meeting. An open and public meeting may be closed to discuss any of the following: a person's character, competence, or health, collective bargaining, litigation, certain real property transactions, including any form of a water right or water shares, with specific restrictions, security personnel, devices, or systems deployment, investigations of criminal misconduct, and private or protected information per the Utah Procurement Code, including trade secrets. A closed meeting may be held only if a quorum is present and the meeting was properly noticed. 2/3 of the governing body present at the meeting need to vote yes to close a meeting. Quick math lesson. 2 divided by 3 equals 66.7%. Let's say your governing body has 5 members present at the meeting. If 3 out of 5 members vote yes, that equals 60%, which is not equal or greater than 66.7%, which means you're 1 member short and would need 4 out of 5 members to vote yes. During a closed meeting, a governing body can't interview someone applying to fill an elected position, discuss filling a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, discuss the character, competence, or health of a person whose name was submitted for consideration to fill a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, approve any ordinance, resolution, rule, regulation, contract, or appointment, or take a vote, unless it's a vote on a motion to end the closed portion of the meeting and return to an open meeting. When a governing body closes a meeting, the following must be publicly announced and entered into the minutes of the open meeting at which the closed meeting was approved. the reason or reasons for holding the closed meeting, the location where the closed meeting will be held, and the vote of each member of the governing body either for or against the motion to close the meeting. If a closed meeting is discussing a person's character, competence, or health, or security personnel, devices, or systems deployment, or several other exceptions, mostly related to state bodies or project entities, no recording or minutes are required. However, the presiding member needs to sign a sworn written statement stating such. If the closed meeting is held for any other reason, a recording must be made, which includes date, time, and place of the meeting, names of members present and absent, and names of all others, except where disclosure would infringe on the confidentiality necessary to fulfill the original purpose of closing the meeting. Regular open and public meetings require 24 hours notice. The public notice includes the meeting agenda, date, time, and place. Public meeting agendas need to include reasonably specified topics to be considered, with each topic listed under a separate agenda item on the meeting agenda. The governing body may not consider a topic in an open meeting that wasn't on the agenda. If a new topic not on the agenda is raised by the public during an open meeting, the governing body may discuss the topic. However, final action may not be taken on the new topic during that meeting. Additionally, entities holding regular meetings scheduled in advance over the course of the year need to provide annual notice of the entire year's meeting schedule. The notice must include date, time, and place for each meeting.
Notice is posted on the public body's website, in a public location such as the location where the meeting will be held, and on Utah's public notice website in accordance with Utah Code 63G-30-102.
Typically, posting on the public notice website is done by the records officer, recorder, or clerk. However, it's the governing body's responsibility to ensure notice is provided. State Archives has prepared a training manual and quick guide for owners and posters, as well as training videos that can be accessed at their website, archives.utah.gov. Written minutes and a recording are kept of all open meetings, with few exceptions. Written minutes include the date, time, and place of the meeting, the names of members present and absent, the substance of all matters, names of citizens providing comments, the substance of the comments provided, any information a body member requests be entered into the minutes or recording, and a record by individual member of each vote taken. A body with elected members must record each vote in list format by category for each action taken by a member, including yes votes, no votes, and absent members next to each member's name. A recording must be a complete and unedited record of all open portions of the meeting from beginning to end, and be labeled with the meeting date, time, and place. All or any part of an open meeting may be independently recorded by any person in attendance if the recording does not interfere with the conduct of the meeting. Pending minutes means written minutes of an open meeting in draft form subject to change before being approved by the public body that held the open meeting. Pending minutes must contain a clear indication, such as a draft or pending watermark, that the governing body hasn't yet approved the minutes, and that the minutes are subject to change until the public body approves them. Approved minutes means written minutes of an open meeting approved by the public body that held the open meeting. Entities must establish and implement procedures for the public body's approval of written minutes. Public meeting pending minutes, approved minutes, and recordings are public records under GRAMA. Any individual who publicly presents information relating to an item on the public body's meeting agenda must provide a copy of the information for inclusion in the public record. Make pending minutes available to the public within 30 days. Within 3 business days after approving written minutes of an open meeting, make approved minutes and any public materials available at the Utah Public Notice website, the entity's primary office, and the entity's website. Within 3 business days after holding an open meeting, make an audio recording of the open meeting available to the public for listening.
Honestly, you shouldn't buy this book because once you do,
Yes. Just as a quick thing, I'll mark that off on the training. Like, this is a sneak peek at what we'll do next time. It is very long, so be ready to bring your party hats for the next time. Did anybody have any questions about that?
comment, looks like he's picking his nose.
It does. Every time they go,
Just really high up on the face.
reaching in there.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Means you were paying attention.
I mean, I have a totally like random question, which is how long do the public records have to be on file?
Um,
Like, is it like perpetuity?
I
Forever. No, I'm reading this today.
I understood that reference. I am not entirely sure how long they're supposed to be, but I mean, we have minutes all the way from like the 90s, 80s,
Yeah.
70s that are still, they've all just been digitized and
Sent off.
yeah.
So it becomes the next form of
I think the records of the city minutes and things,
or forever.
they're forever.
Wonder how long we're gonna be on YouTube.
You have to be
really,
tied to the
honestly.
decision, and the videos probably don't have to last very long, but the minutes.
Permanent retainment.
Permanent retainment. We are
Oh,
gonna
really?
go there forever.
Written minutes and recordings of open meetings to be retained permanently.
And see, all of our, under LUDMA, under the Land Use and Development Management Act, we don't get to destroy records. We can digitize. We don't destroy land use application records. Anything that we get, old subdivision applications, any site developments, that we keep all of that forever. Business licenses, like 2 years. Building permits, 4 years. We keep it forever.
Just curious.
Yep. Okay.
So are we ready to move on to general plan, talking about culture, recreation?
Still broadcasting or still recording?
Making sure that.
Delayed woohoo.
Yeah, delay that woohoo. Okay. Turn it over to Grant.
Okay, so we kind of left off last time talking about Parks and Rec master plan. So with the current draft chapter, we're looping that in, and we're also gonna include arts and culture. I did reach out to Bryce Merrow, is director of the recreation and library. And he, so they were meeting this week and we're would discuss some ideas. We haven't heard back from him, but expecting some feedback about some goals that they have for their department that are kind of long-term that we could include in this chapter. So what I've done is I've just included some of the existing master plan maps that we talked about with respect to parks, trails, cultural items, or just callback if we wanted to continue the discussion. And then also just a snippet of one of the pages from the master plan talking about some recommendations for open space. I hope you all had time to kind of review some of that material with respect to ideas about some goals, objectives that we could fill in. So what I'm gonna skip to the end here. This is an example, and I can pull it up. But this is what Madeline is kind of taking a stab to start the chapter. We're gonna keep adding more materials in. It's kind of like the trails, goals, recreation section of the draft document that we have right now. So what, if any, do you all have any more additional feedback about any of these other topics? I'm just bringing some of these back, and then we could focus. We wanted to for sure focus on arts and culture today as part of our conversation. So, Madeline, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else from our discussions.
No, just kind of looking at these different things and they kind of all go together. And just kind of really, as we've said before, like we're the planning portion of it. Like, what do we need to plan to have in place to support these different activities in the city going on? So those are kind of like, as we think of kind of general goals or ideas or things we would like to see happen, like that's kind of what we're looking at in general. So.
Crispy golf.
Did anybody else have any thoughts they wanted to bring up about ideas or goals, objectives that we can add to this chapter for these different topics?
So it's pretty.
I can't say I'm an artsy kind of.
Well, it was interesting reading through some of the things that they brought up that we lack in the city, that we don't have. And we don't have community, we don't really have a community orchestra or a community band. We don't have community.
That might be a fortunate.
Depends on who you are. But I know that my friends who play string instruments are either going to Pleasant Grove or they're going all the way out to Saratoga or they're going to other places.
Oh,
But I know you're somewhat being sarcastic, but I mean, but it's that idea of if we had those things, incorporating them in, making opportunities again for if we want to bring more entertainment into the city. One could argue whether or not we have a real community theater. There's a lot of other things. We've lost the Timinoga Storytelling Festival. We've talked about that, like what could have been done, what could be done to attract those things back, Hale.
or reestablish it.
Reestablish, yeah. So
Frisbee golf in the parks.
the parks, I mean, there's-
See lots of young adults play that.
yeah. And some of those are a little beyond our purview, right? Like telling the Parks Department, but creating spaces, how do we create land for some of these things? Where do we envision some of these things going within the city?
Or is it like one of the objectives of the general plan could be, how can we bolster community engagement with respect to the future of parks and recreation and creating a programming around continuing the efforts from this master plan as far as getting feedback about, is the community moving in the right direction with respect to adding more programming, bolstering the parks and getting that feedback from engagement with the community. Is that one of the objectives we could put in, and that could feed into future goals as we get that feedback. So that's just an example. But I pulled this one up because it has some feedback from the survey they did as part of this master plan. And there's this word cloud of new activity preferences, and then requests of the 21 survey for recreational activities, programs, or facilities not currently offered by the city were summarized in the word cloud, but also there's a list here: dog parks, pickleball courts, which I feel like at the time we've now added very many pickleball courts. The Hillcrest Park came in, that added a really amazing amenity and opportunities there with the splash pad. I ticked off a lot on this list here, but some of these are relating to more of the open space discussion we had with respect to, hey, that we could tie into some mountain biking trails, nature trails, and a gun range, even programming and outdoor events for festivals. I feel like we've been doing that. And then programs for children and teens. So just a reminder, we're putting you on the spot tonight. So it's like, Rod, come up with 5 ideas right now, like spitball them, but you have access to the document. Just a reminder, you can think through maybe some of the best public spaces you've been to. What was some of the features? What was your experience there? A good, well-designed public space has amenities and activities and balance for people from 7 to 77. So it's comfortable to be there. You'll see a lot of good variety of ages and groups and types of people. So think through, I would say that's a one layer you can think through your personal experiences, and you can kind of glean from that and then say, hey, what could I see one of our spaces, a future space, or how could we improve one of our current spaces? I was going to ask Jared, we were going to ask Jared some of the feedback, I don't know, about Heart of Downtown. Because that's, I think, a recent effort that's still going on that is envisioning the future of a space, improving improvements that can be made, additional amenities.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's an example we can draw upon as well.
I think so. So, how many of you had a chance to talk to them since last, was it the summer they came? I'm trying to remember when they came over to Library Hall, or not Library Hall, but they were in the old city council chambers. I know that a few of you got to talk to them then. The heart of downtown is being done by a consultant out of Ohio, actually, and with some local support here too. A lot of the focus is on, well, no, not a lot of, all of the focus is really on the stretch of State Street between University Place and here where we are. A lot of the focus has to do with getting people between those 2 points. At Sierra, for example, getting up here from Sierra. And can you do that without being on State Street necessarily? Are there back ways that are more comfortable for people on foot or on bikes to get back and forth, so we don't have as many parking problems, that kind of thing. Making State Street feel more friendly. Some of that happens just with people coming for reasons. If there's more reasons for them to be at activities and places that are feeding off of the energy at Sierra. That's kind of where it's going, but talking about ice ribbons and some other things that we can do, the city could look at going forward.
So I don't mean to
Yeah, no,
interrupt.
you're fine.
It seems like it's morphed from the first time that they came out and met in the city council chamber. I think it was like April, May or something like that.
Yeah.
It seems like it's morphed significantly from what you're describing.
In what way do you, I mean, it probably has. I talk to him every couple of weeks, and so maybe I'm not noticing the bigger trajectory change. How do you feel like it?
Well, the way you were there too, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I recall them focusing on mainly around the Sierra, whatever you want to call it, Sarah area. And, what does that look like in the future? How can we transform that area to make it more applicable to everybody? And it seems now like it's a little, it was that one section of town, State Street included, but not all the way up here.
It was 800,
Area.
400
Yeah,
was the initial block that they talked about.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now they've got
I mean,
blocks.
I think that's still probably fair to say that's still the case. It's the renderings and the more fleshed out ideas about what we could do to improve usage at different points is still all centered on Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah, still very much so. But the connections between that and City Hall and the main city park here growing as that goes forward. But a lot of around Sarah and that 750 north or 750
Yeah,
south.
but, well, yeah.
South, yeah.
750 south.
75, 50.
There's a lot of stuff in there that's most of the renderings and things and the ideas about what we could do to improve that area are still pretty much around Sarah, yeah. And the hope is though that grows into something more, that spreads and goes up the State Street corridor further.
In that time, it seemed like at least some of the proposed models were on Fort Collins, Colorado, and some of the things they had done there.
That comes up a lot, the kinds of things that have happened in Fort Collins, but around here locally and stuff too, they've the council went up and looked at the area around the new ballpark in Daybreak, looked at the Harriman Town Center ice ribbon, things like that.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of those things too, but Fort Collins, yeah, for the look of streetscaping and things like that.
What were your impressions of going up and seeing that?
It was really nice. I mean, the ballpark was, they tried to tie in the ice ribbon or, they had the amphitheater in the summertime and it was a little skating rink in the wintertime and, local food vendors, not national ones, but just local mom and pop ones that had their, food. And so they say it's working pretty well. It definitely brings people in.
Yeah, it does get a lot of activity. And the ribbonette, we'll see how the winter goes with the ballpark one this year.
Yeah.
The ribbonette, Herman's busy all the time. A lot of people there all the time. And that's where they do a lot of their other community events, do their farmers markets in that. It's a piddling farmers market compared to the Orem one, but they do attempt a little farmers market in that park around the ribbon in the summers and it's busy all winter. And in the summer, it's a kind of a splash pad too, a little tiny splash pad. It's really busy all the time. That's right by their library and the rec center. So it's a lot of kind of city and cultural stuff. It makes sense. We're kind of in the same environment here between us and Sarah's.
There's another one in Mill Creek,
Yeah.
in their new city hall. Make it up there sometime. It's cooler. See how their ice rink works as well.
Yeah, I've been up there too.
And that's an interesting city center because the bottom floor of the city building has like a little mini grocery store in it. So it's kind of like a community use for the first floor. And so it's an interesting, so if you make it up there, that's another one to take a look at. Some similar ideas for what we're talking about. Any other, just a reminder, you can jump into the Google Doc and
Yeah.
go to town,
It's very bare bones. They're really,
ideas, and no ideas are bad ideas, I would say.
Leave comments.
Get some comments on if there's an existing text that we've added that you want to make a comment about. Go for it. You'll see some of Jared's comments in there. I've yet to make some comments, but I'm going
They're
to.
dumb comments, but they're there. I've made them. They're historically accurate. Keep them forever because we don't throw away unused documents. They're immortalized.
That'll be easier for me to.
I think it is a lot more easier when we have it written right in front of us and.
I'll take that action, Grant.
That's with not just this chapter, but all the other chapters as we add more, you can go back and review some of those things as we've talked about the existing chapters we've got to now. And then the future chapters we will be drafting and talking about. You have access to make comments, so please make sure you add some of your thoughts in there so we can take that into consideration.
There's some preliminary stuff under transportation too. So I mean, which ones have we done so far? We've done land use,
Intro land use.
we've done housing.
And housing, we're waiting on that. And then parks and open space and economic
Economic
development.
development,
Development / economics,
Yeah.
and kind of split those out a little bit,
yeah,
but so.
and then transportation.
I will do that.
It's fun once you get started.
So
It's fun once you get started doing it. Make a few comments and
you might have an interesting definition of fun.
probably do. Warped is the word.
Rewarding, fun, maybe not.
It's okay. Gary told me one time they needed to get me a hobby because I enjoy doing this. So
Normal hobby. If this is your hobby, you need a normal.
it's my hobby.
Okay.
If
That's all we had today.
that's really all, then maybe we just call our work session and adjourn at
Now you can eat.
5:30.
Now you've got time to eat.
Question something? Yeah.
The calendar, I think, is up for voting on tonight.
It is.
Have you all had a chance to look at that and you're comfortable with the dates and everything?
It's normal.
There are normal dates.
They're the normal.
Yeah.
You're still good with first and third Wednesdays. Those are your
Okay,
dates.
just wanted to make sure before it was like,
Yeah, in case anyone else had any other comments about the schedule, but it looked pretty straightforward, so.
Okay.
Is there anything else you need to know about before you adjourn?
We
Don't think so.
meet every week.
Every week?
Every week.
But week one, we meet on Tuesday. Week two, we meet on Thursday. Week three, we
That's a good idea. Rotate.
just rotate it and dot it all over. And on that rare fifth week, we meet on Saturday.
I'll do it.
We set a record like 52 planning commission meetings in 1 year.
Yeah, we're dedicated.
We have the record for the shortest meeting.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, we're gonna maintain that.
I don't know if you can call us dedicated, maybe sick, but
Not that.
All right, then we'll,
Anything else you need to know? We're open books. Anything for tonight? Main meeting? Any questions? Okay. Cool. Dinner for once.
we're until 5:30.
Slides are up when you're ready, Grant.
No, exactly. They're just kind of.
These are the old nameplates.
Yeah.
Well, when we first explored it, they said they were gonna be digital.
That's what I thought.
Right?
That'd be nice.
It would, it'd make it easier.
Like, compared to you, maybe one of those things that would work. Kind of like it's always.
It depends on the, this is all restaurant system. Whoever your vendor is, the code the building, they're not good. Yes, that's.
Okay, that's what I'm about.
Yeah, I worked with control floor, so we do some of that stuff on a lower, more automations rather than big industrial or commercial stuff. Restaurant, pretty much. It all BYU has. Vendor.
Yeah, like that, and like. That's my experience. Well, because
Yeah, the planning commission.
the way our IT is.
Well, but fixes.
We're good to go, Grant? Okay. Then we will call this meeting of the Orem City Planning Commission to order at 5:34 PM on December 3rd, 2025 in the City Council chambers, and we will begin with an invocation by Rob.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for the favorable circumstances we find ourselves in this evening, for the freedoms we enjoy in our country, for the blessings that we have in our lives, the conveniences, and especially the opportunity to meet and express our opinions and plan and make determinations on what we think is best for our city here in this community. We ask you to bless us with thy spirit that will be open and receptive to ideas, that will be civil in our exchanges, and that we'll be able to express our conscious and in making decisions. And we ask for these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. We will begin with our consent agenda items. Item 3.1, approval of the minutes from November 19th, 2025, and 3.2, approval of Planning Commission meeting dates for 2026. So any concerns, any questions?
I move that the Orem City Planning Commission approve items 3.1 and 3.2 of the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Rod moved and Hasem seconded that we approve the consent agenda items. Mike? Vote.
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Consent agenda items pass unanimously. Then we will move on to item 4.1, which is a public hearing for the Home Depot zoning ordinance map amendment, a request to rezone the property located generally at 575 East, 1000 South from R8 to PD 34 by amending Article 22-5-3A and the zoning map of the city of Orem. This would be the point if you want to ask the question, Hasem.
Aaron's not here.
No, he's not.
He went to check his book.
Ah, okay.
Do you want to, do you want to take a break for a minute?
Let's take a break
wanna do
for a
that?
minute until our
us.
city attorney returns. So we will,
It's been a really long meeting so far.
yeah, we're going to adjourn for just a moment. Then we will be back in a few.
So much for that.
If you want to begin the meeting again, we're okay to start up again. Becca's working with Byron to make sure the doors block open.
Okay.
Okay.
We are taking care of a few technical difficulties but we're going to resume right now to deal with our first item related to item 4.1.
Sure. Aaron? I needed guidance on a perceived conflict of interest.
Yes.
So do I need to explain what it is or?
Yeah, go ahead and just explain it so that we kind of just know on the record.
Yeah, so currently I joined a business, second business where we are renting space from the Woodburys in American Fork. We're expanding and I'm not sure if this will cause any conflict of interest. I got to know Danny Woodbury, the SVP for the company, and
Okay.
we're
Hold on. Hey, Grant, can we get the mics higher?
and we're currently members of the same car club, so we do a lot of events together, and so it's I'm not sure if this would serve as a conflict of interest or not.
So, do you have, do you have any interest in this project in particular in terms of any financial interest?
Currently, no.
And you don't have any investment in Woodbury other than just renting a property from them in a different city?
Yeah.
With that, I don't think there's a conflict.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you clarifying that before we started. Okay, we will begin with presentation from staff.
All right, thank you. So as you said, this is a request for a zone map amendment, 575 East, 1000 South. The property is highlighted here. You can see that it's adjacent to this area of the shopping center. This is the Costco here, just to put it in context for you all. The zoning existing is R8, like the rest of the homes in this area. The zoning that they have requested for this property to be changed to is PD 34 to match this existing shopping center where the Costco is located. The subject property is they've requested this map amendment to make this property be available as part of a new Home Depot being planned for this portion of the larger PD 34 zoning. I'm going to show you this larger part. You can kind of see that's the subject property of tonight's request. You can see it highlighted here. And then again, some basic plans for the Home Depot area and how that fits in. So none of the building actually goes on that property, but it's part of the flow around the building, et cetera, through the parking and things that have been planned. The PD 34 zone is a planned development zone. It was put in place for the University Place development. It does have it allows lots of different types of uses, restaurants and retail, et cetera. The R8 zone obviously only allows single family homes on 8,000 square foot lots. So it's a significant change. Some of the things that the PD 34 zone has for development standards include specifically in this area where the subject property is located, minimum 20-foot setbacks from that west boundary of the zoning required for many residentially zoned properties, an 8-foot masonry wall for a buffer, an 8-foot landscaping buffer as a minimum. Limited heights in this hatched area, heights are limited to 35 feet. And then lighting standards, there's not supposed to be any, they're supposed to be able to demonstrate with any kinds of development that there's no direct glare from parking lot lights into the residential areas, and limited foot candles for light pollution to the property lines. And then importantly, also no access is allowed from the residential part of from the residential zone here into the project, into the property, regardless. So going back to the slide that shows this very clearly, this area in PD 34 zoning right now can't be accessed currently either, but changing this to PD 34 wouldn't allow access onto the property either. All the access has to come from east and north and south onto the project. So there won't be any access, although it kind of looks confusing because that road comes down in here. That will dead end in the development plans if it should be approved for a rezone. A couple of other things to note about this in terms of process. This first request is for a change of zoning for this particular piece of property. The majority, 95% or more of the properties that are intended to be developed for Home Depot are already in that PD 34 zone. This is just about this one little piece tonight. In terms of process, if it is rezoned to PD 34, the Home Depot then would come back to the Planning Commission with two different things. There are some subdivision amendments that need to be made if the development goes forwards, and also a site plan is required, and that would be reviewed under the PD 34 zone by the Planning Commission. But tonight's request is just the zone change. However, since we asked people to provide concept plans with their zone changes, we've showing you these things to put it in context so you can understand what their intent is.
Thank you. Hold on 1 second. You hold on 1 second. Yeah, just to reiterate, this is a recommendation tonight only to the city council as to what to do. We are focused on this one particular lot and whether or not to change it from R8 to PD 34.
That's correct.
So that's what our focus is tonight, not the Home Depot in and of itself.
Yeah, the
But-
commission will have to review the site plan for Home Depot. If this is approved and it goes on, the site plan would be a separate review. You're not voting to approve or disapprove the site plan tonight. You're voting to recommend yay or nay for the city council to rezone that one piece to include in a site plan in the future.
And we get you to pull up the
Absolutely.
zone
Sure. One second.
and the list of things that are allowed.
Yes, so this is the PD 34 zone. You can see University Place. Permitted uses in the PD zone include, and then it's got all of these categories. I don't know if you can see those there. It does include some residential uses. Those have different kinds of, I've reviewed the standards that have to do with commercial development there, because that's the intent of this particular application, but it does include PD 34 zoning, townhouses and apartments, live work units, senior independent living facilities. There's all kinds of things. Auto parking facilities, parking lots, parking structures, tobacco, musical instruments, groceries, clothing, fast food. I'm hoping I'm not going faster than you want, Jerry. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of going down the list so you can see them.
Scroll over home improvements.
Home improve. I did. Sorry, it's kind of an important one
The
to
one
this
that
particular
we-
application. Home improvement stores. Well, it's good to know though that it's in there. That's listed. Candy and other confections, fast food. There are a lot, and then there are some. Get down to the bottom here. There are some conditional uses as well that are allowed in the PD 34. Art and music, community gardens, public dancing, conditional use that is allowed. That's not allowed in many places in the city, but public dancing. So you could have a dance club in here somewhere like. So.
I think it's time that we start zoning for what they're going to put there, not the whole world.
I see what you, so a more limited zoning.
I think it should be specific for that lot. And in the future for all of them that they may want to buy.
Sure.
I think it's totally inappropriate to just keep letting them build whatever they want, wherever they want. I've dealt with it for 35 years, and they never build what they say they're going to build.
Thank you. Is there anything else in the zone that you want me to show, or is it mainly the lists? Was it mainly the use lists that you wanted me to show for the zoning itself?
I'm not understanding.
Is there any more information you want him to show about the PD 34? Is that what you were interested in? Was that list?
I think that's sufficient.
Okay.
Thanks, Jerry.
I don't think we need to know every item that they're going to. It just doesn't make sense.
Mike? Okay, sorry. So are there any other questions for staff at this point? Jason?
Yeah, I mean, whether this is approved or not, they can change the design to fit a Home Depot regardless. Right?
It seems likely. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically whether or not this lot's included.
Yeah, they can.
And
sell
that
both on
might
it.
change that they have to shift something
Yeah,
20 feet.
yeah, the great majority of the land that they're going to be using is already zoned PD 34 and would just come through for site plans.
thank you.
It's pretty much just making the wall straight.
Yeah.
Behind the Home Depot. Very expensive. So, okay. Would the applicant is the applicant here and would you like to come forward and speak? Is the applicant here? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. Dan Zoldak, Lars Anderson Associates. I am the applicant for Home Depot. I think Woodbury is a little bit late today. They're the closest, but I came the furthest. But I'm here to answer any questions you may have. I did file the application for the rezone.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
No.
Okay. I think it seems
Thank you.
pretty straightforward.
Appreciate it.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We do. Okay. Do you have a comment?
No,
Here?
I'm
No?
just looking around.
Okay. Then I think at this point, we should have the public hearing for it and open for public comment. If you are a member of the public and would like to come forward and make a comment about this rezone, please come forward to the mic and say your name and limit your comments to 3 minutes. So we'll open for that.
My name's Annette Olson. And I live next door to this property. And I just spoke to the man who lives I live across the street. And I just spoke to the man who lives next door to the property. And he said, will there be a 20-foot? He says, if I have to have 20-foot setback on the west side of my property, then do they have to have a 20-foot setback on the east side of their property? I see a 20-foot minimum. Does that mean that the wall will be 20 feet from his property line? And number two, an 8-foot masonry wall is not tall enough. We already have a 9-foot wall and a 6-foot wall and a supposed to be 8-foot wall that never turned out to be 8 feet. And it's not enough, especially because the Home Depot, unless they've changed their plan, the loading dock is going to go right next to our house. And if there's an 8-foot wall, the trucks are going to drive right past our bedroom window, and we'll be able to see the eyeballs of all the truck drivers as they drive right past our house. It's very close. And the way they drew it the last time, I don't know if they've changed it, but the way it was drawn the first time, there was not a 20-foot setback from our property line to the loading dock. If you look at it carefully, for the other people along that street, the original proposal was a 40-foot buffer from the residence to the building, but I understand that that was increased to 60 feet for all of the other residential homes that are there. But our home does not have a backyard next to this where this is going to happen, and it doesn't have, it's just right there. So I'm concerned about those things. Definitely, I'd like a 12-foot wall. Because the last time they said, we'll put an 8-foot wall. If you measure the wall from the bottom to the top, it's 8 feet. But by the time they dug down into the ground and put in the formations to put the wall only ended up coming up about 6.5 or 7 feet above the ground level. So these are my concerns and the concerns of my neighbor. We're very close to this, and it would be nice to know where the wall is going to go. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. And I will ask those questions after the public hearing. Okay, would anyone else like to come forward? Okay, then we will go ahead and close the public comment, and then we'll go to what her questions were, because I think they're legit. Like, how far is the setback if the loading dock is actually 20 feet, or is it from the actual physical building is the 20-foot setback?
The setback applies to the building itself. So the dock might not be considered part of that building. But the setback, the 8 feet, or there's an 8-foot landscaping setback required, and there's a 20-foot building setback required as well. And those are things that we measure in the site plan process and review. What I have seen so far would comply with that. Again, we're not reviewing the site plan specifically tonight, but what I've seen in site planning would comply with that setback requirement. As to the question about the position of the wall usually goes on the perimeter. We have made exceptions to that in the past when people want to have landscaping on their side of the wall instead of on the other. But sometimes you want the landscape. It just depends on on your desired outcomes. Sometimes it's nice to have trees that someone else is taking care of on their side of the wall, growing up and giving you some more privacy outside of just the wall itself. 8 foot's what's required in the PD 34 zone right now. So I can't speak to the idea of 12 feet. We could do that during site planning or something. But 8 feet's what's required, 20 feet's what's required. The 8 foot wall would go on the property line. So there would be 20 feet from where that wall is to any building, at least.
Okay, thank you. Rod?
So to their request, I mean, I wouldn't want truck drivers looking in my bedroom window. Can we make that, I can't think of the proper term right now. Can we make that a condition of the approval that they build a 12-foot fence?
You could make those kind of statements in your recommendation that you think a 12-foot fence would be required. Your other better option at looking at that as a requirement is trying to mitigate impacts during the site plan process. I'd say a development agreement or something, but there's already the PD 34 zone is a giant development agreement. So those, I don't know.
Just tracking, but I
Yeah.
want to make sure that we don't tell them the check's in the mail.
Right.
And then, oops, it got lost in the post somewhere. Because it seems to me to be a very legitimate concern and a relatively easy fix considering all the other things that are going into this development.
Yeah, and I would suggest that the way to do that would probably be to suggest in any recommendation that you make that you think a 12-foot wall is appropriate there and you'd like to see that as some kind of requirement somehow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, as opposed to the zoning, which is what we're concerned with tonight. Directly.
I'm just trying to address the lady's question.
And I same. So I appreciate that you have more to say, but we need to kind of have our discussion too here. Were your questions answered? That's what my question for you is. Do you feel like can you come to the mic real quick?
I'm just not sure that you all understand the closeness of it. And so if you look at this,
Is this your home?
yes, that's our house. And if you look back at the plan is for the loading dock to be, see where that narrow is? Not that side, the other side. Right there. Don't go so fast. Go up to number 2. Go over to the dark black line. From there across to where the Home Depot starts. It's the loading dock, and there's that space between is about 15 feet. I just want you all to know that that's where the 15 feet is, and it's the proposed Home Depot is that close to our house.
Thank you. And we do recognize that. We do understand that. And we will deal with some of that more on another night.
Okay, the other question I have is where will the wall go?
Yeah, on the property
On the
line.
property.
On the property line is what we were discussing.
On the property line, straight across the road and straight up?
Are you talking about your lot or are you talking about
I'm
the lot
talking
across
about
the street?
the lot that's being rezoned.
So can I?
Yeah.
May I? Sorry. So the wall then would run across like this and up and over.
If it runs up and over, that will not leave a 20-foot setback between the wall and the next property owner's
Okay.
This house here.
property.
Yeah.
And the setback though, so the setback is to any building, that 20-foot setback that we talked about is required to any building on this property. It doesn't apply here necessarily, because right now, oops, sorry, let me go up here. Right now, the home that we're talking about is right here. That's a great question. He's not got much of a setback from that property line at all. And we might be able to work on that during site planning and move it further out or something.
And I was gonna say, let's further questions about this. Let's talk to you afterwards. We're more than happy to spend some time
Okay,
talking about that.
I appreciate very much you hearing me tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out
Thank you.
and bringing those items to our attention. We appreciate it. Okay. If the applicant would like to respond, but I think this is more Woodbury's stuff than the Home Depot stuff, but you're welcome to come forward and
No, I do appreciate the comments, and we'll be prepared during the site plan review process to come before you and actually address these. Now I can prepare in advance. The distance between the property line and the Home Depot is over 40 feet. We can work on the wall and the other issues during the site plan review process, more than willing to, and we'll have exhibits ready. And that way we're talking apples and apples with exact distances.
okay,
But appreciate the comments now. It helps me get prepared for when we come back.
thank you. Okay, so back to specifically this one property and whether or not we make a recommendation to the city council to change it from R8 to the PD 34. Any further comments, questions? Jerry, push your button.
Yes, back to the point I made. What if Home Depot doesn't build? What's going to go on that lot? Matter of fact, right now, we have no idea what they're really going to put on that lot. And you heard where the lot is with respect to her house. And we have no guarantee that they can't put one of those 300 things on that lot.
On that specific lot. That is true, but that lot also creates the buffer. There's the setbacks and stuff on that lot as well. But we can talk about that in a minute. I hear what you're saying.
There is no reason, in my mind, to change the zoning till we know what's going to go on.
Okay.
Because it's wide open. It can be changed the day before they start building.
That's valid. Are you from Woodbury?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Would you like to come up? We've had stuff and we've been presentation, but we would like to hear from you and like loop you into the conversation.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I'm Kathy Olson with Woodbury. I'm the Director of Development for the University Place project. I don't know, should I make a statement?
Yeah, we're just talking about the rezone this property. Why do you need this property? Let's.
The main reason that we're rezoning the property is that it actually juts into the University Place project. And by purchasing this house, we basically straighten out our property line. And I haven't been here to hear what everybody's concerns are. But you're right, there are limitations for the first 50 feet of the edge of that lot, where, it can't build anything higher than 35 feet. There's quite a fairly large setbacks. So I don't know, probably the best thing for me to do would be to answer questions, I suppose.
Yeah. Some of what was being discussed and that the public brought up was concerns about the wall and the wall height and the location of the wall. And particularly because of where the proposal, we're not doing site plan, we get that, but the proposal for where the Home Depot would be, loading dock would be directly behind somebody's house, and making sure that there's enough space and protection for the homeowners for taking on what could.
Yeah, did we get into a discussion at all about sound mitigation?
No, we have
or
not.
anything? Okay.
That would be great from your part.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to handle that, or I can do a.
We haven't gotten to sound
summary.
mitigation, so that would be a great thing to talk about.
I can handle that.
Okay.
Sure. That's again, site plan
So it's more site plan specific.
topic we weren't talking about, but she already brought up the option of maybe a 12-foot wall. We actually thought that would probably be the main concern of the residents. That's what was brought up in the community meeting, was sound and light. And so we've done and will be prepared to address sound during the site plan review process. We have a sound study that actually is being reviewed by staff and went in the second submittal. And so we are looking specifically at that lot too. There is a lot of actually ambient noise today in the existing property, meaning if you check the noise levels of what that lot 2 is experiencing, and those 7 lots that do currently abut The PD zoning, they are experiencing today, quite a bit of ambient noise. And so that's something that we'll be prepared to cover in the site plan review. That lot 2 is probably the most impacted of the ambient noise. And we'll have those exhibits ready for you to review. The 12-foot wall is a visual impact, but it's also a noise reducer that would potentially assist that lot too. And so it's something that we're looking at and we're prepared to discuss during the site plan review process.
Great. Thank you. Was there anything else as representing Woodbury?
In addition to the wall serving as a buffer, there are also landscape requirements, landscape setbacks along that wall. And we plan to pretty heavily vegetate those, so that should also help mitigate noise in that area.
Okay, any questions for the applicant? Or yes, we'll just say the applicant, for them right now regarding this.
One
Jerry?
other slight thing I'd like to point out. These invitations to this meeting went out Monday.
Is that when you got yours?
That's when we got them. Was
That's when
Monday.
you got yours?
And I might mention the meeting they were going to hold before that they postponed. I only know of 2 people that received the notice. Me and the previous owner of the lot.
Okay. Yeah, that, once again, further notice issues, that's city side stuff that we need to further address, apparently. So, okay, bringing it back, once again, we're talking right now about this one lot and whether or not to rezone it to the PD 34 or leave it as an R8
Or change it to something
or change it to something else.
a bit limited,
Well, that's what
commercial.
that is what they asked for. That's what we can do
Yes.
right now. That's what our choices are.
We also
That's,
don't have a more limited commercial.
we don't have a more limited commercial. Yeah, if we opened it.
So
up
if you gave it to C2, you'd get even more
everything.
stuff. So
They could put yeah.
you're actually, the only advantage
That's-
is you'd avoid the condominiums and townhomes and crap
Yeah.
that we don't want there.
And that's what they've asked us. That's what they have proposed. That's what they're asking is R8 to PD 34. Any other? Rod?
So I realized that, there's lots of things we don't know about this. And I think, those things will become clear in the site plan. So I realize that there's some concerns and issues that still need to be addressed, but I'm actually ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I move that the Orem City Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the request to rezone the property located generally at 575 East, 1000 South from R8 to PD 34 by amending Article 22-5-3A and the zoning map at the City of Orem.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Rod moves, Hasem second, that we forwarded approval, recommendation of approval to the city council. Rod, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, just reiterate that
Yeah.
there's much to be discussed still, but for tonight's subject, that's it.
Okay, Hasem?
Hi.
Well, I didn't, I was asking for a vote. I was asking if you wanted to say anything.
No, they can put Home Depot if they wanted to without the house. And Home Depot is a good revenue generator for this city. I'm tired of going to Linden. They can if they wanted to. There's nothing we can do about changing what was approved before.
Yeah.
It's realistic.
Does anyone else want to Mike, do you want to make a comment? Are you good? Yeah. Would you like to make a comment? Do you? and I'm going to do this over the mic to clarify it. So what we're voting on is whether or not to change one lot that's on the edge of the neighborhood that Woodbury owns from R8 to the PD 34. So it rolls it into to their property. That is all we're voting on tonight. The site plan will come before us. It sounds like there'll be some subdivision stuff that comes before us. There'll be other things. So this is only whether or not this lot should change from R8 to PD 34. Do you like to make any comments before we go to vote? Nope. Okay. And I'm kind of in line. Woodbury owns it. It's part of it. I think what the concerns are things that can be addressed as we go through the rest of the plan. Now I'm going to say, we're going to start at Mike for voting.
Nay.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, it's 3-2, which actually means that there will be no recommendation sent forward because we don't have 4 votes for it. This will go to city council and it will be the same process over there over whether or not to change this lot. And I think it's supposed to be on next week's city council. Yeah, so we encourage people to come out and talk to them there as well. So if there's nothing further, we're good. Nothing else from you guys, Jared?
Not from staff, no.
Okay. Then we can adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, Hasten moved. No, sorry, Mike moved. Hasten seconded that we adjourn. Hasten?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned at.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks very much.